So you'll notice on these that there is basically a repeat of the colors, right? Everything that's light blue is what structure?
Amnion.
Amnion. So notice it there, right? So eventually it'll surround the developing baby. By the way, when the baby is not really seen as like human looking yet, how many months are we in? Or when does it change from an embryo to a fetus is my point.
After 8 to 9 weeks.
After 8 weeks, right? So, the first couple months, the baby looks kind of different looking, right? Has like a frog-like stage and a fish-like looking stage. After those first couple months, what is it called when it does look like a person?
Fetus.
A fetus, okay? So everything before 3 months is still considered an embryo. These are all embryonic stages, yes? Okay? Now, and then that pink guy, that's going to turn into the fetus. What is that structure again called? Embryonic disc. And then the yellow structures?
Yolk sac.
Give me a couple things that does.
Nutrients.
Nutrients, stem cells for what? Sex and blood cells. Okay? Notice the fingers start to grow. These fingers originally came from what layer?
The endo.
Trophoblast, which was turning then into the chorion, right? What are the fingers of the chorion called? Chorionic villi. Okay? The chorionic villi, along with what layer from mom turns into the placenta?
Decidua basalis.
Decidua basalis, right? There's the developing fetus, all happy in there, okay? With amniotic fluid, and let's go to here now. Okay, when you're here, these are all developing what? Follicles, right? What's the earliest follicle that a woman has? Primordial. Okay, primordial, right? And then with each cycle, a dozen of these will start to get pushed towards this next phase. What's this next phase called?
Primary follicle.
Primary follicle. Notice each one has a primary oocyte, right, within it. And then this space starts to grow. What is that space called?
Antrum.
Antrum. That antrum will fill with things like hormones, other fluids, and then eventually you get this gigantic one. What is this largest follicle called?
Graphian.
Graphian or mature. You finally get what cell stage within that graphian?
Secondary oocyte.
And that is what's actually ovulated, okay? Your secondary oocyte. And then what's this layer of cells around it called? Corona radiata. And what are the cells? What's the name of the cells? Granulosa cells. Deep to that is this secreted glycoprotein layer, which is called what? What's that layer called?
Zona pellucida.
Zona pellucida. And do we know the kind of chemical that makes up the zona pellucida?
High hyaluronic acid.
High hyaluronic acid, which will get broken down by what enzyme over here?
Hyaluronidase.
And what structure is that?
Acrosome.
Acrosome. And then we have the
Mid.
nucleus, midpiece, flagella.
Flagellum.
Makes sense? Okay? We did that right. Okay. Now, the sperm gets in, right? There's all the... When does the sperm get activated? Or where? Where does it start to start swimming like crazy and get all... Female tract. In the female tract, right?
Oh, the
Hey, no.
pH.
Okay, so in the female tract, the low pH kind of wakes up the sperm a little bit, okay? That's called capacitation. And then there's burrowing, right? What's burrowing when it goes through what? All the corona radiata, right? Okay. And then eventually the tip will break down this outer layer, which is that zona pellucida. The sperm gets in, and it's really the sperm head. It has the whole flagella there, but what process is happening here?
Fertilization.
Not yet.
Oh,
Syngamy. So syngamy is when both gametes are within one cell, right? Syn means together, and gamy means gametes, right? That will trigger what process in the egg?
Meiosis 2.
So completion of meiosis 2. By the way, what was this little blib right here?
Polar body.
First polar body, right? So after meiosis 2, she can make up to 2 or 3 polar bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 2 nuclei fuse. What's that process called?
Fertilization.
Fertilization. And now we have the 1 cell stage called the zygote. Right?
Zygote.
There's a lot of repeating things. Right? Are you guys seeing that? Yeah, there's a lot of things, but a lot of the models are showing similar structures, right? Okay, then you got your 2 cell stage. What kind of cell division is happening here?
Mitosis.
Mitotic division, right? It's sometimes called mitotic cleavage. And what's that 1632 cell stage called? Morula. Why is that significant, the morula? First cells to communicate. You got your first tissues there, really. And then you have, what are these stages here?
Blastomere.
Blastocyst or
Cyst.
blastula.
Oh, blastocyst.
What are the names of the cells? Those are called blastomeres.
Okay.
Those are
blastomeres.
blastomeres. Okay. Those are like stem cells, right? Your original stem cells. Okay. Why? When is this around? What day?
Day 20.
Yeah, 5 through 7 ish. It's a stage that implants, right? One more time. Ring of cells.
True.
Space.
Blasto.
Seal or blastocyst cavity. Collection of cells. Intercell mass that turns into what? Fetus and some of those membranes too, right? Okay. All right. All these stages, fetal or embryonic?
Embryonic.
Pretty embryonic, right? I'm not going to show you this. It is on your PDF. What were those 3 layers here?
The
You
germ
can see from the
layers.
side. Those are your germ layers, right? Like, what does the ectoderm become? The one on top?
The skin, nerves,
Skin and nerves. What about the middle germ layer?
muscle,
Muscle and connective tissue. And then what about the inner layer? What's that called?
Reproduction.
It's called the endoderm.
derm,
What does that turn into?
Digestive and reproductive.
Digestive,
repro.
repro. Okay. There are some other structures here. I'm not going to ask you this, but there's somites, pharyngeal buds. What's this right here?
I don't know.
That's the heart. That's the
Oh.
developing heart. Okay. And then these are like the developing arms. This is like a limb bud. Look at the tail you used to have. Okay. Umbilical cord. Okay. Let's do the baby here. Baby structures.